Okay, everyone. So, welcome to it. Welcome to another one of these, and it's Andy Ranks. And I did have a shower, so it's not that kind of rank. So you can get those jokes right out of the way now. Uh, so this time, I thought thematically, because it's been 30 years of 311 officially this year, and they're doing all sorts of cool anniversaries and stuff like that. And yeah, I thought we'd do a 311 ranking video here. So, thankfully, I've got everything all set up to my left here. So we're not, let's get the rules sorted. We're not going to be doing greatest hits collections, of which I have a few. And obviously solo works, not that there are too many, but solo works are right out. And what else is what else is out? Yeah, compilations and solo works. But live albums are in. Some people don't do their ranking videos that way. You know, the live albums don't usually rank too high for me, but I think it's interesting to see how they stack up, and if they do. So I got this upside down. I'm all ready. Oh, I'm not ready. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, speaking of live albums, at the very bottom, very last place, okay, sorry, I was just counting. So this would be number 15, I guess. At number 15 is the little-known 311 with the Unity Orchestra live from New Orleans, 311 Day, 2014. And this is a cool little set that, I don't know if you can still get this, but you could order it off their site back in the day. Well, back in the day, like, I don't know, 5 years ago. And you know, it's a cool concept. Some of the songs work well with the orchestra for sure. You know, Beyond the Gray Skies is pretty cool, and it's cool to hear stuff like Time is Precious. Eons is one of my favorite 311 tracks. I don't know if it works all that well. It's a little discordant. The tracks that work very well, and then some of it's kind of a mess. It's too short, and it's not, I don't know, it's weird because it's Scott Ralston, he recorded it, Chad mixed it, but it just doesn't sound as good as other 311 records. Like, 311 records always sound so good, the production and the engineering and everything. So it's very interesting to have as like a little novelty. I've probably only listened to it all the way through 3 times, but I knew when it came out I had to have it. And it would have been awesome to be there. I'm not sure if they just played those 9 songs. I should have looked that up, actually. Or if they played more, because it would have been a very short concert. And, you know, usually on 311 Day, 311 play like 60 songs, or, you know, they just break the boundaries and play all these crazy songs. That's like number 1 on my concert lists, is to go to a 311 show, especially a 311 Day show. So number 14 is Uplifter, and I must say that my when this came out, my fandom had waned a lot because Don't Tread on Me wasn't really my favorite, and you know, I'd listened to 311 from grade 8 all through high school, and, you know, I was kind of going into other things. I was starting to listen to jazz and, you know, prog stuff, some heavier stuff, some lighter stuff. I was going in all directions, and I really loved experimental music. You know, in 09, Animal Collective were probably my favorite band, and you know, I didn't even really know this was coming out till like right before it came out, and I just saw the cover and I'm like, whoa, like that's a cool cover, I'm gonna check that out, you know. Good times with 311, you know, let's get back to that. But I must say, when I listened to it, I was a little bit disappointed, and that's never really faltered. There are some good tracks on it. I think the lyrics are probably the worst. There's a lot of kind of cringy lines on this one, and, you know, even the 2 singles, like, well, I guess there's 2 and 1 promo, but they're just not quite up to standard. I know a lot of people do like Hey You, and it's fine. It's It's actually grown on me over the years, but it's still nothing compared to, Down and Prisoner and Homebrew and all the, classic singles, or even the early 2000s singles. But, there's some fun tracks like Jackpot and stuff. But stuff like Mix It Up, I don't know. When he starts, rapping about math and stuff like that, it's like, I don't know. Plus, it's Bob Rock producing. His production with the band was my least favorite. It's just, it's a little better on this than the record that I'm about to show, but it's not quite classic 311, which, is their 90s stuff, and they've got back to that. I think the last 3 or 4 records that they've put out, the mixing, the production has been just incredible, like immaculate. So this is, that was 14, right? Andy Learns to Count. So this would be 13, Don't Tread on Me. And this was kind of, for me, when this came out, I was excited for it. I still listened to it a lot, but even from the get-go, I would say definitely the weakest up to that point. Kind of a 2.5, maybe 3 out of 5. Probably a 3, because there's some cool tracks on it. I thought Bob Rock had more to do with this one, but it says produced by Sane and 311. It just sounds so flat compared to what they usually do. Usually they have this kind of polished sheen. Usually the drums just sound absolutely incredible. And this one just, it just sounds kind of flat. A lot of people think Don't Tread on Me, the title song, is the best. It's good, but it's not great. Thank Your Lucky Stars is good. Frolic Room, I hated Frolic Room when it came out. I would probably have given it a 1 out of 5. It's fine. I don't mind it anymore. Speakeasy sounds kind of like they're trying to do Amber again. It's okay. Solar Flare, they get kind of political. That one's okay. Waiting, yeah. Great critical analysis. Long for the Flowers is Grifter from the Transistor era, dusted off, and they put lyrics on it. That one's pretty cool. And it's getting okay now with S.A. Martinez finally doing a solo vocal again. It had been a long time up to this point. That one is probably my highlight. That one's really punchy and fun, and kind of sounds like a precursor to what he would do in his group Ghost Wolf. And they put out 2 LPs, one called Lunar Halos, which was okay, and the next one was just an amazing record, actually. So Don't Tread on Me, that would be 13 if I'm counting down properly. Okay, so then the next one is the other live record, and this is the one that people actually know. This came out when the band was still like a platinum selling band, and it seemed a little slight on the track list, like only 14 songs. I sound spoiled, but like, we're used to 311 playing so many more songs nowadays. It's a cool track list, though. It's, got a lot from music and, a couple from Grassroots, a few actually, and then it's got Who's Got the Herb, right after Hydroponics, so that's perfect. And then it's got some cool Transistor tracks like Galaxy and Light Years. It's got Tribute on it, the B-side from the Blue album era. Of course it has Down. That was a huge hit. It doesn't have All Mixed Up or All Remixed Up, which is kind of a little bit odd. Beautiful Disaster was probably their biggest hit from the Transistor era, so of course it's on here. And now it's one of the most well-known songs. You wouldn't know from the charts at the time, but people really like that song, and it's a great song to, skate to or hang out to. I think it probably caught on even more so because of skater culture. But this one would be amazing to have on vinyl someday. It's pretty limited. It's pretty hard to get. They put out like 5,000 copies or something. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's pretty expensive on Discogs. Here's Universal Pulse. Now, when this came out, after Don't Tread on Me was just okay, and Uplifter I didn't really like. then my 311 fandom really had waned, and I wasn't listening to the band like I did in the early to mid 2000s, or like I have again for the last 9 years or whatever. And then this came out, and just like Uplifter, the cover really, striked me as a cool cover, and very 311 and very trippy. And then the first single dropped, Sunset in July, and I was like, wow, 311 are back, baby. Like, this is a great pop song. It's amazingly produced. It's punchy. It had all the classic 311 tropes, but sounded modern enough, too. And I remember getting this, and this was when I had moved into my own place. I was out on my own. I was just, I was working, but I was having fun. And I just remember, that summer, just drinking on the patio and listening to 311 a lot again, and, rediscovering everything I liked by them again, and then this came out, and listening to this, and this is a very slight record. It's by far their shortest one. It's only 8 songs. It's produced by Bob Rock again, but he got it right this time. Like, it sounded a lot better. I'm gonna say out of the 8 songs, only about 4 of them are classics, and then there's 2 that are good and 2 that are decent. But like, Rock On is just amazing. Like, that's a great song. And Sunset in July, as overplayed as I had it, like, it was my girlfriend's favorite at the time, so whenever I listened to 311, we had to put Sunset in July in the mix, and still do to some extent. And as overplayed as I made that track, it's still great. It's still catchy. It's still fun. I still really like it. I probably wouldn't put it in my top, 30 311 songs. It might be in the 50 or 60, but, yeah. Anyway, so next up, so the train was really rolling along now, because the next one was Stereolithic, and this one came out on 311 Day in 2014, and I was living elsewhere with a roommate, and I bussed into town to HMV to get it on day one, which I think that might have been one of the last years that HMV existed as a physical retailer. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's quite a memory, is bussing to the mall to get a new CD. I'm sure not many people were doing that in 2014, but, my roommate was gone. He was a 311 fan, but he might have been out of town, or maybe he was just at work, but I got back early in the day, and I was just, sitting on the patio opening this up. I got in to the house, I started listening to it, and I just listened to it, all day, and I thought, wow, I love 311 again. 311 are amazing. And when it came out, I thought, this one's their best since Evolver, and I still believe that. But I think I thought this was perfect, or almost perfect at the time. And it's a really great record, but I wouldn't go that far. There's a couple songs like Sand Dollars that they're fine, but they're not the most amazing things of all time. The single, the only single, surprisingly, 5 of Everything, which did nothing on radio or anything, that one's really cool. Great Divide's awesome. Simple True is amazing. Would love to hear that live one day. Made in the Shade is great. Existential Hero, The Call, Tranquility, First Dimension. The second side of it, tracks 10 through 15, or even 8 through 15, though, that's probably where the real money is. Yeah, it's got a great ass end of it. Yeah, Stereolithic, pretty cool record, actually, and I'm pretty sure that was a fan commission record. I don't know if it was Kickstarter or Patreon, or I don't remember, because I went to go pick it up in the store, so. Next up is 311's Music. This seems a little low for it because it's a classic, but I guess that just, I don't know, I guess that just is a testament to their quality. And, ooh, watch out, kids. Love this record. Hate the album cover. I never liked this album cover. I don't mind the colors. I don't know if the sunflowers are like a tribute to their Omaha roots. But like that guy, I don't know, there's just something about the cover. It's just hideous. And like his hair is like, his sweater, oh man, that's a cringy one. And then of course there's young, look how young 311 are. That's not focusing very well, is it? They all got the shirts off, and they don't have many tattoos yet. Well, Tim and Peanut. And then, yeah, that looks like something that would be in a Stoner's collection. So is that. Very of the time artwork, but at least the album is amazing. It opens with Welcome, which, you know, welcomes you to the groove, welcomes you to 311's career, would welcome you to some of the live shows. You know, this band have amazing first tracks, opening tracks, but I would say this one is probably one of the best. And then it goes into Freak Out, which is one of their best live jams too. Visit, classic, Paradise. That one took a long time to grow on me, but I really like that one a lot. And then Unity, which, you know, listening to that this year, you know, that song means so much even now. Hydroponic is the transition from Unity to Hydroponic is godlike. My Stony Baby's fun. Nick's Hex is very you know, kind of bragging and everything, but it's a good song. Plain is funky, Feels So Good is great, and Do You Right, probably one of their best singles. Great, catchy, fun song. Next up is Evolver, and this came out really at the height of my 311 fandom, you know, because From Chaos was the first one I bought, and I just went backwards from there, like checking out all their stuff, realizing it was all absolutely incredible. And then I was there day one for this one. You know, I remember Creatures coming out and listening to it over and over and over. I remember this album cover being revealed and all the fans freaking out or going, huh? Or cool. It's a different record for them because, you know, they really cut the raps in half. There's still raps on it, but not many. It was more about producing pop songs, and Nick Hexum really showed his influences and his Beatles influences, and one of the songs kind of sounds kind of Grateful Dead-ish, but yeah, you can tell he's listening to a lot of the Beatles and stuff like that. And Creatures, for a while, felt like one of their very last huge hits. Of course, Love Song, the Cure cover, came just after this. It actually kind of stifled this record a little bit because I think there were supposed to be 3 singles, but they put Creatures for a while out. Then they asked fans which one they wanted as a single, and the fans chose Beyond the Grey Sky. And anyone who wasn't a fan, that tanked, which is too bad. It's a beautiful song. It's an amazing kind of anti-suicide song, but it just didn't catch on. I think it stalled at like 40 on the Modern Rock charts tally, and then just disappeared, and the record company said, well, screw this then, you know, this album's not gonna do anything else for us. You know, it was Creatures and that's it. So they rushed out a greatest hits collection and put Love Song on there, and, you know, everyone bought that instead of this, I think. But there's not a bad track on this album. I try, you know, life is hard sometimes. I try to live by Don't Dwell. You know, this band always have so many good messages, but that song always stood out to me a lot. Same with Reconsider Everything. Nice rockin' song, but great message. Crack the Code is really fun. Give Me a Call is really fun. I can see purists of 311's kind of rap rock era and the harder-edged era not liking those ones, but I think they're great and they're catchy, and yeah, there's definitely not a bad track on this record. And the fact that I'm putting this above music, like, that might be a little cuckoo to some people, but, you know, this record meant a lot, and it still sounds pretty fresh today. I still really like that one. Now we're getting into even more modern stuff. Mosaic. And this one was definitely a fan commission one, and I remember I put out the cheddar for it. That was a cheesy thing to say. And got the CD and the vinyl issue the vinyl in the mail, and unfortunately I didn't submit a picture. I should have. You wouldn't be able to see it on the CD, but you could probably see it on the record. It'd be amazing to be a little part of this band's history. I like the idea behind the artwork, but I don't think the bands stand out enough. It doesn't look quite good enough. It actually looks better on camera than looking at it with my naked eyes here. Anyway, like, Too Much to Think came out, and I thought, it's alright. And then, but I'm like, oh, I'm excited for a new 311 record, so let's put the money out for it. And when I got it, I think I liked about half of the record. And nowadays, I look at it and I'm like, well, am I crazy? Like, these are all bangers. Like, the rockers on this one are all amazing. And the lighter songs like Too Much to Think, Inside Our Home and Island Sun are great too. This is an amazing record, really. Like, and again, the second half has some of the highlights on it, like Face in the Wind, Days of 88, Syntax Error. Yeah, but Wildfire and The Night is Young are probably my two favorites. Like, Wildfire is just straight fire, no pun intended, and The Night is Young is like, it really gets you pumped. It's a great party track, great hangout track, great rock out track. So now we're at the one that everyone knows. 311, eponymous. You know, this came out, and you know, the band didn't know it was going to be as big as it was. It went 3 times platinum. It was kind of a mini cultural phenomenon, a shift in music. It's like, wow, these white guys can do rap and rock? Like, what? Like, and a lot of imitators came out after this, but no one ever, you know, can't nobody do it like 311. They say it themselves, and it's so true. No one ever did. No one ever sounded like this group, yet there's so many imitators of this group. And it's because of this one. And this is a nice, there's 14 songs, but it goes by really fast because a lot of them are a little shorter. So it's got Down, which is like the biggest 311 song ever. I mean, Amber was huge too. Amber probably gets more play these days, but you know, you can't forget just the phenomenon that Down was, and how often you'd hear it. And they played it on Letterman with one of the most explosive Letterman performances ever. I think only TV on the Radio, Wolf Like Me, and Future Islands Seasons, those are the only two, maybe the Foo Fighters, those are the only performances on Letterman that I think kind of outdid Down, because that is a tight performance. It's so fun. Nick's vocals are a little screwy because he was doing that weird filter through his voice, but even that doesn't really detriment the performance. Like, it's instrumentally just incredible. Like, yeah, they somehow managed to make it sound so loose and so tight. So I would search that one up if you're a fan and you don't know that one. And then, you know, I remember getting this and listening to Random and Jack-o'-lantern's Weather. You know, this is a few years removed from when this album was out. You know, I was only like 6 when this came out. It would have been cool to be like 12 when this came out. It would have just blown my 12-year-old mind. Every track is a banger. They only slow down a little bit for Purpose and Sweet, and I guess all mixed up, but you know, these are songs to rock the house and blow the roof off the dump, like Hive and Misdirected Hostility, and you know, even the little ones like Loco, like that's a lot of fun. TNP Combo is some of the fastest they ever rocked. Don't Stay Home, great underrated single. Yeah, that's a great album. This is controversial, but I'm putting it in front of Blue for now, because over the last year, this is all I've been listening to, and I get that some people don't like, you know, 311 are kind of mixing their old sensibilities with, you can hear kind of some new pop sensibilities come in, especially on stuff like Dodging Raindrops, and of course Good Feeling. A lot of fans were mad about that one, but fans that just like having fun and listening to pop would like that one. And you know, I'll take both, because there's some good rockers on this, like Born to Live and Rolling Through and Better Space and Dream State. Those are all great classic sounding rockers from 311. Born to Live has a little bit more modern sensibilities to it. Crossfire is just, I said this for Wildfire, but Crossfire is straight fire too. and even faster and like more kind of hyper. And yeah, I just really loved this record. Like, I would definitely give it 4.5 or 5 stars. So that's why I had to rank it so high. I had to be honest with myself. But really, I mean, this and the Blue Album and Mosaic, you could kind of change those all around. You know, do rankings really matter that much? But that album just, you know, reaffirms my love for them, and it just, not that it had to be reaffirmed at this point in time, but you know, it's just, it's now ride or die for 311. I don't think there's ever going to be that era that I just don't listen to them for a while anymore. They just uplift me so much. They're such a positive band, and everything they do means a lot to me, even those weaker records. Next up, this one is the raw one. It's Grassroots. It's the second album. It's amazing just how far ahead they were sounding, even on this early in their career. You know, this has some of their best, most raw material on it, like Lucky, Nut Symptom. Homebrew is one of their best songs of all time. I would probably put that top 10 or 5 of all time for them. Applied Science became one of their biggest live tracks. Omaha Style, same thing, amazing. Offbeat Badass. Lose is beautiful and kind of sad. 123 is quite beautiful as well. 8:16 a.m. is fun and summery and poppy. And the title track, Grassroots, is amazing. Italy. Yeah, so Grassroots, you know, can you tell I like it? It's amazing. It's raw. It's incredible. It sounds live, but it's a studio record. It's great. This one could... I don't know whether to put this one number 2 or 3. Well, for now I have it 3. This record will always maybe mean the most to me, though, because it was the first one I ever bought from 311. I heard You Wouldn't Believe on the radio, but the radio station also played From Chaos right after that, because they always played the new single, but then also an album track that wasn't a single, or it wasn't a single yet sometimes, but that one never became one. And I listened to them and I'm like, whoa, like this sounds nothing like anything else on the radio. What is this? And you know, they said 311. I said, okay, gotta go have it. And I think it had only been out a week, or that was the week it was out. So I don't get to say I bought it day one, but I hadn't heard about 311 day one. And then so much changed within a week, and this became, you know, I didn't have too many records in my collection because I had only started buying them in 98 or 99. I probably only had like 30 records. I didn't have much money. You know, I was just a kid, and this became one of my favorite records of all time, and I just cherished it. I flipped through the book a lot looking at it. You know, I memorized all the lyrics, and you know, some people think I'm weird. Even some 311 fans will think I'm weird, but this is a 5 out of 5. Like, I love this album so much. You know, and again, the production, it sounds so crisp and so good. I love the sound of this record. In some ways, I think it's the best sounding record, but I mean, the next two coming up, they sound very different production-wise, but just so good in their own way too. This has a lot of tracks I'd put in my top 20 probably, like Hostile Apostle, From Chaos, which is the title track, You Wouldn't Believe, one of my favorite singles ever, never got old for me. You Get Worked, I love You Get Worked. Full Ride and Sick Tide are amazing, a lot of fun, would love to see those live. Champagne is amazing. I think that should have been like a 4th single. I think they could have sold even a couple more records if they put... They're not a band that put out 4 singles. You have to be pretty big band to do 4 singles. You have to be like Chili Peppers level. But I think they could have got something out of that one. It just sounds like a song you'd hear on like KROQ or something like that. Amber, of course, as overplayed as it was, I think it's still a very good, well, great song. Very chill, very summer. Love love how he wrote it. Love that song. Uncalm is great. I'll Be Here